What's up, everybody? Big Will, K-Pop for life, coming back at ya. And today we're going to be talking about BTS again, more specifically, Big Hit Entertainment, in today's episode of K-Pop Rantz. So if you're not familiar with BTS, you're dumb. But Big Hit Entertainment is their parent company, their record label. And they always, of course, BTS is massive. So they get a ton of hate online. They get a ton of crap talked about them. They get a ton of love, a ton of hate. It kind of just comes to the territory of being as massive as they are. And, you know, getting hate is one thing. People talking shit about you, saying they hate your music, they hate you. That's one thing. I have no problem with that. You're just voicing a subjective opinion. It's to be expected. Totally cool with that. But they do get a lot of what would be considered defamation or slander. Now, Big Hit came out a long time ago and just told everybody, you know, we're going to start pursuing these legally if this continues. And people thought they was playing. But listen, you don't play with these big companies. I mean, anybody on here watching Fortnite or playing Fortnite, you know that the Epic Games sued a 14-year-old kid for cheating, and they wasn't playing. They making $300 million a month, and they don't give a shit. Okay, so Big Hit Entertainment has officially thrown down the gauntlet, and they have sued someone who was on the chat boards on some website, claiming that they were, hold on, wait for it, saying that they were Sajangi, and that they were a corruption regime. Now, a Sajangi, or however the hell you pronounce that, basically means that the company, the album company, Big Hit Entertainment in this case, was buying their own albums to boost record sales. And corruption regime, I'm assuming this person is Korean. These sound like Korean things, saying Korean ways of doing things. This isn't something that people would use in the West here. But corruption regime means that you commit activity such as bribery, embezzlement, etc., all in the hopes of boosting your record sales. Now, this is absolutely defamation and slander, and is illegal. I mean, it's one of the 9 non-protected free speeches, and I will give you a list of those really quick, just so you are familiar. But there are, in fact, 9 unprotected free speeches, and that's in the United States. That's not in Korea, but for a point of reference, you've got obscenity. Obviously, context and where it's being used matters in that one. Fighting words, anything that incites violence. Defamation, including libel and slander. Child pornography, perjury, blackmail, incitement to imminent lawless action, starting riots, stuff like that. True threats, meaning you're going to act on something like murder or whatever. And solicitation to commit crimes, such as, you know, prostitution, I guess, you know, being a John or whatever they call them. Some people actually say that treason in a verbal form is part of that. And also, plagiarism of copyrighted material is not protected. So that's interesting, because that's like every reaction video ever. But it's interesting that Big Hit is doing this, and to an extent, I'm actually all for it in this case. I mean, I think it could very potentially be a slippery slope, but defamation and slander is a big deal nowadays. It's so many people. I mean, when it comes to anything, anything, the news is awful, especially in the States, of defaming and slandering people. You get Fox, you get CNN, you get MSNBC, you get all these news stations will go on and try to defame YouTubers that are like news stations too, like your Jordan Petersons, like your Ben Shapiro's, like your Joe Rogans, those kind of guys. I could go on and on, but those kind of guys, those kind of channels, those alternative news channels, you know, they intentionally defame them and attempt to, you know, drag their names through the mud in hopes that it will drive their viewership away, because they're getting way more views every day than, you know, big media is, old media. And this is no different. You're going on chat boards and you're saying things. The interesting thing is that this person put something online, and I'm going to show you right now. So they wrote, This is the person who was saying the slanderous and defaming things about Big Hit and or BTS. So I was kicked out from another website. Immediate red flag in the very first statement. They probably should have kept their mouth shut. And this is really bad English. I think it was translated, so just bear with me. I have no place to ask for help. I really need help. I have just received this attendance requirement. They probably got a summons or something from a legal, like a cop showed up and here, you got to show up in court from the police. Fortunately, I am home alone, so my family doesn't know I'm being sued. So this person is either a really pathetic old guy or girl that lives at home and they're like 50, or more likely than not, this is a kid, a teenager, somebody who's young. If I do not go to the police station by July, I will be on the wanted list. I did not even use that bad word that much. Cannot I sue them for over-investigation? How much do you think the fine will be? I have no money because I don't have a job right now. I asked the website to delete my writtens and comments, but I'm afraid it could be also a problem. So it's interesting. If you just read that, it's very clear that this person is young, stupid, and scared. So while I completely am back in Big Hit on this one, I think that anybody who gets defamed should take aggressive action to prove their name, clear their name, because I mean it's online. That thing could spread like wildfire, and it could become a mess, all because, you know, somebody picked it up and ran with it. That's not cool. However, I think it's kind of a scare tactic because, I mean, if you've ever been on any kind of a message board or anything to do with the army, I mean, there's a lot of positive stuff on there, but there's a lot of these, like, you know, these hardcore, you know, anti-fans for no reason that just hate them to hate them. And it doesn't really make any sense, but they go on there and they talk shit and they make this kind of thing is not new. Obviously, they wouldn't have threatened to do this months ago if it was new. But it's concerning, and I think that if you're going to sue somebody, just one person, it's almost like they picked them at random and they're just trying to use them as an example. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I bet they get a slap on the wrist and maybe a small fine or something. And that's what I'm guessing is going to happen, just to set an example. And then it'll probably deter people in the future from doing this kind of stupid shit. You can't go on. You can't go on any kind of, you know, thing and start spreading false, obviously fake information that can potentially hurt the credibility of anybody, company, or place, person, or thing. It's just not right. So yeah, I agree with Big Hit on this one. I do think that they are, like I said, they are setting an example, and I hope that they go easy on this person. Because obviously they're young, and I think it will still not deter people because they're probably too young and stupid to realize that it could affect them too. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys like what you see and you want to see more, click one of the two links that's going to pop up. And as always, keep on popping, K-Poppers. Remember, it's not a trend, it's a lifestyle. Deuces.